Well, good morning, my friends. It is a beautiful, sunny, cloudless day here in Los Angeles, California. And today, we're gonna go see one of the coolest houses that I've seen since I've lived in Los Angeles. An Art Nouveau masterpiece with a really, really great story behind it. I've shown it somewhat in a vlog before, but I've come to appreciate it on a whole new level recently, and I wanted to take us out there to see it today. It's in Beverly Hills. It's called the O'Neill House, and you probably saw it in the movie Breathless with Richard Gere. Daze with Jordan Lyon begins now. Oh, he got diverted. So I'm actually thinking tomorrow, since I have to work at like 5:30. I'm thinking tomorrow maybe I'll go stand in line and see if I can get in to see that It house, because it seems like it's like multiple floors and fully interactive and all kinds of like scares and surprises around every corner. So I definitely want to see it, and I think tomorrow will be the day I'll go try. At least there are a lot of dogs out here today. I figured because it was kind of early there might not be, but we lucked out. So I got a message from Stefan asking if I could make a video out of his the Iron Maiden show when we did on the bachelor party. He asked me if I could put some of that footage together for him, so I'm gonna be working on that later today too. What a weirdo. Just a little bit of road construction. Just a tad bit. Well, this is pretty much the story with all of Santa Monica Boulevard, all through Beverly Hills. Well, here we are, friends, in Beverly Hills, and I'm pretty surprised they're letting this much construction go on. It's pretty much throughout the entire city of Beverly Hills. It is noisy, it is congested, it's heavy traffic, weird. But we're not going to let that deter our little field trip today. We're actually here, right around the corner from the O'Neill house. Let's go take a look. Well, this, friends, is it. The magical O'Neill house that I told you about. And it's named after the owners, Don and Sandra O'Neill. They were originally from the Midwest and moved out to California years ago, decades ago actually, and Don never wanted kids, but then once he had kids, he loved them and decided to make a memorable house for him and his family. And he was actually had a real job, like worked at a, I believe he had a photo lab, sold the photo lab and answered an ad to sell antiques of the Art Nouveau style. Became obsessed with it, became really good at it, and then right down the street from here, right off Cannon Drive in Beverly Hills, he had a successful gallery and made this house his life's work. Now, this is not even the original house. There was a smaller version of this house apparently that he worked on. He when he got the permits, he said it would only take a year to build, but a year came and went, and it ended up, because of how elaborate and stuff he wanted it, it took like 5 years, and even all the neighbors were complaining about the noise construction and everything, but he didn't let it deter him, and he kept building it. And then he decided, well, this isn't enough. He decided what he wanted to do, and look, it even sprawls out of here into the front. He decided this house wasn't enough, and he wanted to build it even bigger and came up with a bigger plan for it. And then unfortunately, as he was getting the designs and everything started and laid out and getting it all in the mix and getting it all working, he got cancer of the esophagus and ended up fighting that for 3.5 years and never got to see this completed. But to his credit, what's great is that his wife Sandra loved his work and loved what he wanted to build, and just he wanted this kind of, I mean, this was based off of like Belgium and Spanish and Parisian artists, and he was, like I said, he sold Art Nouveau. antiques and just became obsessed with that style. So he wanted to build this big dome-like structure that even was big enough he wanted to sprawl out into the public so that like when you walk through here, you would have to walk through it. And so after he passed away, his wife decided to, in his memory, to go ahead and she raised the house and had this one built to what his plan was, what his specifications were going to be should he live to have gotten to do it, which I thought was really great. And she said in his memory that she would always live here until the day she died. And so it's called the O'Neill House. It's been in a few movies. Like I said, Breathless was the one that I knew it from. Actually, someone who watches this channel had at one point said, hey, if you haven't seen the movie Breathless, you should, because I think you'd like it. And so I watched it, and you only see this house for a fleeting moment. It's actually right over here. I'll take us to it. But you can see some of the details on the house and on the roof and everything. He really wanted it to be a place for everyone to enjoy. Like I said, he wanted it to become part of almost what you would have to walk through if you were walking through the community or walking through this neighborhood. And he even took it as far as to going into the back of the house and the guest house. And his plan was just basically, from what I read, was just to work on this forever. He was eventually going to retire and then just keep working and creating and building and adding on to this place. And it has kind of a, it's been described as sort of a marshmallowy or birthday cake icing type effect look to it. But you actually see it in Breathless right here, because right here you see where this passageway is. Richard Gere is getting ready to sell a car that he's stolen. It's a pink car, and when he goes to get it, he sees there's like a lot of police activity near his building, and so he realizes he can't take that car, so he ends up running away from, he doesn't know yet he's wanted, but he assumes that's probably what it is. And he ends up running down through what is supposed to be this alley, and then pops out right here, and he sees two women parking a blue classic car right here in this alley, and they go inside, and then he steals this car. But let's take a look at Don O'Neill's dream. And like I said, it was pretty crazy because they said like once he would get into something, he would get into it in excess, and you can even see there's mushrooms on the roof and everything, that he just let Art Nouveau take over his life, which is cool. That's the way it should be. If you find something that you're interested in and you appreciate the art, and as far as someone like him who is actually selling that style of art, of course you should turn your home into it. And to his wife's credit, how great is that she could have very well kept it the way it was, or let, you know, in her mind it could have been, well, this was what he knew it as, I'm gonna leave it that way. And instead she said, nope, I'm gonna take what his dream was and what the new designs were and what his plan was, and I'm gonna watch the house that we lived in get raised so that we can build what he would have got to live in. And look at all the detail. I mean, he's right. It spills all the way out into the alleyway, onto the doorsteps. You can see all the little carvings and notchings, even the doors. Now, that side of the building is pretty normal, the one that goes into their neighbor's yard, but pretty neat. And that's like an iridescent rock. And when he got sick, he even didn't sell the gallery. He, I believe, leased it out to someone else and let them use it. And sounds like a really cool guy to me. Look at that. Makes you wonder what would come out of that mouth, since there's a definite hole in there. And I think this was actually in an episode of, I want to say like 90210, the original Beverly Hills 90210. I think they used this and that as well. Oh, look at the detail on there. So there it is, the O'Neill house. I would have loved, and I'm gonna keep looking, I wasn't able to find pictures of what it originally looked like before Sandra took over and started redoing it, but if I can find them, I'll definitely show you. And from what I understand, the inside is just as crazy and cool as the outside is. That he had not just spared wanting to do the outside and give that to the public, he actually was doing the entire house in Art Nouveau and that very dreamy, fairy tale-esque style. So it's too bad we can't get in there and take a look, but if I am able to find pictures of the inside, I will definitely add them and show you. And it's too bad the hedges over here in this little alleyway aren't shorter. We could at least see some of the backyard. Pretty mind-blowing anyway. And here on the tree out front of the house, you can see where various people have come by and left messages and left their initials and various things, people that have visited the tree. Well, one of the kind of crazier little additions that I wanted to put into this story was that when Don found out that he had cancer, his architect for this, a man named Ramos, was actually like a big fitness guy, big like health fanatic and everything, and started giving him vitamins and tips on how to stay healthy and stay alive. And Don jokingly said, "Nobody gets a lease on life. I'll probably outlive all of you." And he actually did outlive Ramos, because Ramos was working on another house and was hanging upside down, and the apparatus that they were using to hold him up actually broke, and he fell and broke his neck. Just an oddity that I thought I would add in there. And before we go, I just wanted to show some of the details kind of closer up. Some of those great stained glass windows up there. As I was leaving Beverly Hills, I wanted to come over to this little park because they always have statues, and this one over here is actually closed down right now. You can see across the street they're doing some sort of work on it. Much like everything else, you can see there's road work everywhere. But I wanted to stop because this statue was always kind of peculiar to me. It's called the Drummer, and you can tell it's like a rabbit drumming on almost like a Native American drum. I always find that to be interesting. And you know what's interesting about the house that we just saw, the O'Neill house? Doesn't it remind you of that house that I went and saw up in Beechwood Canyon that they say that Clark Gable lived in, that I got a tour through? The inside wasn't as quite Art Nouveau as the outside was there, but they say that the O'Neill house is. So this is actually the Beverly Hills sign here. But you'll see this little sign right here. It says Portraits of Hope Neon Nights in 3D, the Lily Pond. So if you come out here at night, and I may have to, now that I know about it, this all lights up and it's all neon. Pretty cool, huh? We'll definitely have to come out. Maybe I'll do it tonight. I have a date with the lioness, but we don't know what we're gonna do yet. Maybe we'll make this part of the night. You can see all kinds of tourists are out here. And it looks like it's only happening in August, so I'll have to do it quick if I'm gonna do it. So this sign looks like these are the various different ways they've celebrated this Portrait of Hope with the neon in various places, and looks like most of it's in Los Angeles actually. So I guess if you keep your eyes peeled, you'll see more of it. Yeah, that one's Santa Monica. That one says Thursday through Saturday, so okay, it's very limited. I'm gonna assume that coming out on those nights is not gonna be that easy because Beverly Hills has a very strict no parking at night policy on the streets. I mean, even if you live here, you have to be parked in your parking space, in a driveway or whatnot. It cannot be on the road next to a house or anything. And there's very little meters, and the meters end at 6, so I guess basically if you live in the area or if you can get a meter spot, you can come check this out at night. We may try though, we may try. Actually, coming back out here at night might be a job for Uber. We may have to do an Uber on that one. Wow, look at this storybook home right across the street from the Beverly Hills sign. That's right out of Hansel and Gretel. Wow, you know what, do you see that other weird part about it? They have a fountain that's a doorway. Can you see that? It's an open door and the water's coming out of the lock part. Brilliant. Great job, whoever owns this house. See, maybe you can see the fountain a little bit better from here. Well, John, I've had a couple of hours to hang out at home and watch a movie and rest and relax, and now I'm gonna finish up my coffee and I'm going out with the lioness, and I think that I've talked her into going to see the neon lily pads, so we might go out and see that tonight, and if we do, I will show you. If not, have a great night. And I have decided on, I'm pretty sure on my trip. It's about 99% I know exactly where I'm going. It's going to be probably the last week of September, so you have that to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a great night. If I don't get to show you the lily pads, have a great night. If I do show you the lily pads, we'll see you in a little bit. Well, we did decide to come out tonight and check it out, and they've got it all lit up. Velvet Underground, perfect for the occasion. Oh, look, it rolls around. Fully interactive here.